The Changeling, also known as the Trickster of Tzeentch, is a demonic horror of Tzeentch who epitomizes the Lord of Change's love of sowing discord and distrust and his perverse sense of humour. Tzeentch long ago bestowed upon the Changeling a doppelganger's ability to assume any shape from that of the tiniest insect to the largest greater demon. The Changeling carries out practical jokes in both the realm of chaos and real space, always intended to bring about the constant change so beloved of his patron. The only shapes that the Changeling cannot assume is that of Tzeentch and his own, for he has long forgotten his original form and desperately seeks to regain this knowledge through any means necessary. Only the Great Schemer knows the Changeling's true form, and he will never reveal it, so as to keep his favoured pawn under his control. The Changeling is a restless and mischievous demon who roams the galaxy and the warp alike, playing devastating practical jokes upon the unwary. He lives to sow discord and conflict and delights in breeding mistrust and confusion. Many lords throughout the galaxy have made unusual and disastrous decisions, only later to deny that they were even there at the time the decision was made. On many battlefields, a great hero has fought an opponent that was his mirror image, his comrades unable to tell the difference between the two until it was too late. It was the Changeling in the image of the sainted Lord Commander Solar Macarius who ordered the retreat on Gorana, just as the real Imperial Warmaster was directing his forces forwards on the front lines. In the guise of a lowly Gretchen, the Changeling made a few alterations to war boss Git Smasher's favourite Mega Shooter, a fact that only became apparent when it next fired, blowing Git Smasher and his retrine of knobs to tiny green pieces. On one occasion, the Changeling took to the shape of a Keeper of Secrets and answered the summoning of an Imperial commander whose vast palace was besieged by the vengeful Dark Angels. The Changeling traded the souls of the desperate man's daughters for a powerful artifact, which in the fool's own words would put an end to the siege. The moment the commander activated the device, the shadowy forms of several Deathwing Terminator squads materialised around him. Locking onto the device he was holding in his hands, a teleport Homer the Changeling had stolen from the Ravenwing. The siege was indeed soon over, while the Changeling dallied with the man's pretty scorns. The Changeling's pranks are not limited to the mortal realm. Countless wars have been started between the Chaos Gods by the Changeling's practical jokes, such as when he cut Slaaneish's beloved hair with a stolen Hellblade while the Dark Prince slept, or the time he snuck a trio of Nurglings onto the Skull Throne, creating a hideous noise and an unholy mess the next time Khorne sat down. The majority of the Changeling's adventures are carried out according to his own motivations. Only rarely does Tzeentch direct his trickster, for the Great Schemer enjoys watching his pranks with amusement. As the Changeling weaves his uneven tapestry of mayhem, terrible wars and unrest follow, and while he would prefer to be long gone before the fighting begins, he is well prepared to defend himself when cornered. He will blast apart foes with his sorcerous powers, or in close combat take the form of his attacker and use his own powerful weapon against him. So many times has the Changeling altered his appearance and shape that even he has forgotten what his original form was, and so when not in the guise of another being, he cloaks himself in a long shroud from the gaze of others. It is whispered by Tzeentch's other heralds that beneath his cowl, the Changeling is in a state of constant flux, randomly changing between all the faces he has assumed in the vain hope of rediscovering his original features. However, only the Great Schemer remembers the Changeling's true form, and he keeps the secret for himself so as to forever keep the Changeling under his control.